Sounds great. I'm looking forward to this. It should be a fun trek. Okay. I'm excited for it. It's good to talk to you. Well, let's get started.
Yep. See you in the crater.
Yeah, all right, at the top. 10 kilometers aerial distance translates into 18 kilometers on land. And today, it's all uphill. That's 36 kilometers over 2 days. By foot. And there are no paths, no trails, no roads. There are no passages carefully carved up and laid out for you, leading to the top of the mountain. You have to improvise. Walk wherever your next step seems safe. Keep heading in the right direction. By following the curves of the O'Donnell River, the hike should take 7 hours. And you'll need every single second of it. You're excited, you have energy, you can't wait to get to the top. You realize that walking in sand is tougher than walking on grass or dirt or concrete. It gives way every time you push off, and you have to expend more energy to move. You also realize that you have a couple of doubts. I mean, you're out of your element. But now you wonder if you're out of your league. Maybe you're in over your head. An illustration. There are several major differences between you and the Aitas. The most obvious one as you start hiking is that they know what they're doing, and you don't. Some spoiled and pampered hikers strap on the designer backpacks they mail-ordered straight out of an LL Bean catalog. Lucky them. But some tribesmen aren't so fortunate. Like the ones who lost everything in a furious volcanic blast some 8 years ago. Like the ones who are forced to carry unwieldy sacks filled with rice. It's all about adjustments. With a few hacks from a handy machete, a rope formed by woven strands of leaves, a knot tied at each end attached to the sack. See you later. They'll meet you at the top. That is, if you get there, with your spanking new backpack, rookie. Well, we've started our trek towards the top of Mount Pinatubo, and just want to emphasize that if you're interested in heading this way, make sure you take an experienced guide, because there are no real obvious trails, and even an experienced mountaineer could easily get lost and have difficulty finding their way around here. You don't have to be an Olympic decathlete, but it helps to be in good shape, because it can definitely be a tiring trip. How much it stings when you stub your foot? Or the feeling you get when you have a pebble trapped inside your shoe? How annoying that is? Well, you learn to live with it when you're on this hike. Because if you stop to take care of every pebble and small rock that started to bother you, you would waste too much time, lose too much ground, and never get anywhere. This is the land of Lahar. Ash and volcanic sand. It's all you see for miles and miles.
And now we're entering on another second stage. It's what we call Laharia or Laharlandia. So after another hour, it will be another surprise environment, terrain.
Make sure you bring a lot of water with you, because it's a long trek and there's no 7-Eleven waiting for you at the top. The terrain around here is something out of a Mad Max film. It's almost like a post-apocalyptic terrain. And the temptation is, when you're walking on sand and loose stones, to be constantly looking down at your feet so you don't turn an ankle. But it's a good idea every now and then to stop and take a look around, because it's picturesque, it's beautiful, and you really have to admire it. start to feel like you're in an old Hollywood Western. Of course, you think to yourself, if this were a movie, it would have ended by now. You think, if this were a movie, they'd get a stunt double to do all the dirty work. And if this were a movie, all the scenery would be painted backdrops and computer-generated effects that would cost a fortune. So you know it's not a movie. It's the real deal, my friend. But still, you can't help thinking sometimes that the entire experience is really very cinematic. And you're right in the middle of it. Theoretically, we're about halfway done with our trek. It's kind of hard to gauge distance, but we've been walking for a couple of hours. We plan on walking for a couple hours more. It gets a little harder as the day goes on because the sun comes out and you're already tired from the start of the trip. But, you know, we found a nice little spot here with some shade. As you can tell, shade can be pretty hard to find. So once you spot it, you take advantage of it. The beat goes on. Life is not always easy. The afternoon sun is burning hot. You're tired, dehydrated. You've been hiking for 4.5 hours. When you ask your guide, how much further, he says, a couple hours more. We haven't even reached the foot of Pinatubo yet. We haven't started any climbing. And the hardest part is still ahead. Nature can be vicious, but the reverse is also true. Sometimes nature gives you second chances. Sometimes nature gives you life. And this is the sweetest, most beautiful stream I have ever seen in my life. I don't know what tour company runs this. You know, I don't know what marketing whiz decided to place this stream right here, but it's a great idea. This is the perfect spot for it. I love it. 5 hours of hard, rigorous physical exertion. I was starting to feel a little delirious. Water. I love water. You wouldn't believe how much I love water. Water is our friend. Oh, that's good. You know, after you trek it around, you get exhausted, you get dehydrated, and you wouldn't believe how nice it is when you find some shade, when you find a nice breeze, and a cool stream. This isn't water as cool and good as a mountain stream. It is a mountain stream, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to live it up. All right, I'm much better. Good. Thanks. You brace yourself. Your guide tells you, this is where it gets hard. And you tell yourself, just take one step at a time. One step at a time. You're at the foot of Pinatubo. Steep uphill, sharp inclines, and lots of rocks. Big, big rocks. Who the hell put these rocks here? And whose bright idea was it to hike over them? But the end is in sight, even if you're too blind from exhaustion to see it clearly. After 6 hours, a couple of thoughts race through your mind. I give up. I surrender. I quit. No more. Kill me now. Please. Please. I'm begging you. Please. Oh, and thank you for filming and recording my misery. I appreciate that, really.